going. Let's get it. And as I said, let's get it going. That's what we're doing right now. We're live. Welcome to another. This is episode 67. 67
Dang.
of I know. And there's been times we've haven't been on or whatnot, but there's times for the most part we've been consistent with it. We try to be. Hold on, let me see if I can bring my man in.
All right, can you hear me, y'all?
Yeah,
here comes the noise, y'all.
Loud and clear. Listen, we got, besides myself, R. Jones / the host / moderator, we got my man Dom from the BX, now residing in the Carolinas. We also have the man on the verge of retirement from his job, brother Reg, about to join Dom.
I'm about to join the other crew. I gotta go to the other side. Coming to the light, they say. Coming to the light.
That's right. Not the dark side, Reggie. This is the bright side.
It's the bright
That's
side.
what I said.
You already know. Guys, thanks for joining. Yo, we got a pretty much a live one, man. Got some. I can't wait to get to this Carmelo Anthony thing. This is hilarious to me. To me. You know, we'll get to that a little bit later. First thing on the docket, little talk on boxing. This one particular guy, Deontay Wilder, prepping for his return in the month of June, a couple of months away. Against this guy, what's his last name? I think Audley. I think it's Audley. What the hell is his last name again? Oh, it's not important, but I'm just saying. You have to excuse me. I'm trying to find this guy's name. Oh my God. Well, anyway, this guy that he's fighting, you know, he's light work. He should be light work. This is on the tier of him stepping into the ring with a barber, a street vendor. I'm sure. No disrespect to the gentleman he's fighting, but still, he's not a top contender. Deontay Wilder he's a special case. I'll just say this. The man is blessed with the one-hitter quitter. We know that. We've seen on YouTube. We've seen his fights. He could always blast you with that one punch. But where he fails is in making himself a better overall boxer. You know, to kind of give that one-hitter quitter, you know, a little bit more advantage and whatnot. You have to go in there and box. You have to, and we said this before. This man has not worked on his boxing skills at all. Even when he has taken time off, even when he has lost fights that he knows he should have won, even when he has exchanged boxing trainers, and it still winds up the same result. Him trying to throw these haymakers, him winding up getting beat. It's ridiculous. So are we on the same path going forward as previously? I mean, a hard head. Listen, what was that? Hard head and a soft ass, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if he can. Because at one point he had, as his trainer, he was the trainer of the year in his corner, and even he couldn't do anything with him. So with that being said, I don't know. I'm very doubtful that this is going to end positively for this guy. Yeah, he might knock this guy out that he's fighting June. You know what I'm saying? Because he's going to take a soft road to get to that big payday that he might want. So I don't know. How do you guys feel about this gentleman?
Former heavyweight champ Deontay Wilder has his confidence back with hate in his heart.
I saw that article.
This could be the first. Look at live. First
yeah.
What up, live?
What's happening, brother?
This may be the first time since 2019 he has more than one fight in a year.
Mm-hmm.
That's 11 years. That's how long? 6 years.
6 years.
He's had more than one fight per year.
Right.
But I will say, guys, in his defense, with this new boxing situation that we always talk about, it is what it is, man. It is. You know, remember we used to say what happened to the good old days?
Of course.
Where number one fought number two and
good old days.
And so on. Yeah.
Exactly.
What happened to that? Yeah, those days are gone, huh?
Yep. They're very much gone. Live, your mic is live. We said hello to you. And also we have Nick about the app. What's up, Nick? You know,
what's going on, guys? How you doing?
All right.
What up, guys?
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, this guy, Deontay, well, I don't see it. I don't see it. Because again, it's like, okay, I'm gonna take time off. And he has shoulder injuries. I get that. Okay, he was saying that it's like longest to kind of like heal. I don't know if I'm not a doctor, I can't verify that, but at the same time, from what I've seen, again, is your unwillingness to better your skills. You know what he kind of reminds me of? He reminded me of a guy named Adrian Broner.
Mm.
Adrian Broner would not work on his skills. He was a better boxing wise. He was probably better than Deontay. I'll give him that. But
Wow.
again,
Wow.
he chose not to kind of enhance his skills even more so because that guy was blessed. You understand? And he just rode on that, and we seen what happened. I see the same thing happen to Deontay. I don't really think he's learned his lesson, even with he claims he had the shoulder injuries or whatnot. You know, because again, just like I said earlier, you had I forgot the trainer's name, but this guy was like a huge name in boxing at the time. He was the trainer of the year, and you had him in your corner, and he worked on you. He worked on you. The first 2 rounds, he was doing it. You was following, but then you fell back in your old habits of trying to connect with that one-hitter quitter, and it just didn't work. You were flailing your arms. No, I don't think he's learned. I don't think he's learned.
We don't believe you. You need more people. That's what that is. You know what I'm saying? Like I gave up on the brother when after the second Fury fight. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like he's like you're not going to show me you are addicted to knocking people out with one hit. Like that's what you want. You want the one shot. You want the 2 shot, and that's cool, right? If you train yourself to do that, you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you being outscored, right? You being outscored, so it's like okay, this is kind of a reverse situation, but you got fighters out there that measure. It's why they call it the sweet science because it's like, okay, I'm gonna take you into the third and I'm gonna take you into the fourth, and I'm gonna parry and I'm gonna weave and I'm gonna deflect, right? And I'm gonna let you waste some of that physicality, and I'm gonna rest in those early rounds. Then I'm gonna beat the shit out you for the rest. I'm gonna see you puff one or 2 times. Then I'm coming at you, right? So I'm not adverse. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying he can't seek the you know what I'm saying the killer shot. He just don't fight like it. He fight like he could do it anytime.
Right.
Right? Like at any time. So I would even say, look, I mean, you're gonna get booed out the stadium, but don't throw the punch. Don't throw, deflect. And then when you know what I'm saying, you set him up and then you hit that motherfucker. But he don't do that.
No, he doesn't.
He flails. He's
exactly.
And he Hulk smash and he hitting him like he a caveman and God, you know what I'm saying, doing all of that shit. And I'm like, and again, Fury was big enough to absorb all of that shit. It wasn't even like he was nice to them. He absorbed all that shit.
Let me ask you a question, guys. Was it Mark Breland?
It wasn't Mark
Breland. Trainer?
No, I mean, originally it was Mark Breland. If I'm not mistaken, I could be incorrect.
The way the story goes is they parted ways when he threw in the towel with the fight against Fury. I take it Mark Breland was in the corner and he saw him getting his ass whooped and threw the towel in.
Right.
And then I guess he got mad and they parted ways.
Okay. But it wasn't that.
Shout out to Mark Breland. Man, my step pops fought him and got his ass whipped. Shout out.
He's one of your homies from Brooklyn, ain't he?
Yeah, exactly.
Nick, you got anything to say about that or not really?
I don't. But like this, I lost a lot of respect for Deontay Wilder. After the first fight. You know what? The sport of boxing, there are guys that they're just straight punchers and brawlers, and then there are guys who are fighters and boxers. Right. And Deontay Wilder is basically, I think one of y'all just said he's a flailer. He just throws. He just knows how to throw his, throw a lot of punches at you.
Right.
It doesn't matter whether they connect or not, and then he slips in that right, and then you get that knock, and he becomes the knockout artist.
Right.
I was really starting to like, on his up and coming, and even when he won the WBC title, I was, starting to have believe in him a little bit. But and then he started doing all his fights in Brooklyn. But then all of a sudden, like, it became more and more exposed, and you can tell a lot of that when him and Joshua could just, for whatever reason, can never get that fight going.
Right.
And then I started, and that's when I really, my respect for him started to, fall out because I couldn't tell whether it was Joshua who was ducking him or Wilder who was just coming up with a whole bunch of freaking hoopla, and it looks like both of them were ducking each other, and really they didn't have to because both of them, eventually paid their dues in the end.
Right.
But Wilder, him returning, look. If he's gonna be like a Miguel Cotto type fighter, where he's just gonna go for the easy paycheck and actually, just making money, all power to him. If he's all about doing these exhibitions and just getting the payday, great. If in any way, shape, or form, he's thinking that eventually he's going to compete and fight for the title.
That's
what I gotta say.
Yeah, I feel you, and I gotta tell you, on top of that, Knickerbocker, I gotta tell you, on top of that, he is looking down the road at that. He's talking about how he wants to fight the best. That when I get in the best, I want to take on the best. I want to take on the best. I want to take on the best. Dude, you weren't even the best, to be perfectly honest. You wasn't. He wasn't. You know what
he could have been. He could have been.
Had he put the work in, he literally could have been. You're right. He could have been. But again, it's that lack of wanting to put that work in, the lack of wanting to, hone your skills, around that one hitter quitter. You didn't do it. You were lazy. And I gotta be honest. I was never really a big fan of the dude when coming up because again, yeah, you were 40-something and 0, but I'm like, well, who the hell did you fight? Who the hell did you fight? You're fighting in the auxiliary. Come on, man, stop.
I hate to correlate this because a lot of people love him, and so do I.
Okay,
but it's sort of like, forgive me for saying this, Mike Tyson. When Mike Tyson was knocking people out in the first to the third rounds, but then when he got later on in his career, when he was fighting guys that could fight, like Lennox Lewis, Evander Holyfield, it showed that he didn't, like Live said, like the one-hit wonder. If I could milk this until the cows come home, I'm good.
Right.
I just have to, I guess, duck and dodge anybody that knows the art of boxing. Because y'all notice, as much as we love Mike didn't fare well against people that fought. The guys that went in there thought they were going to go punch for punch with him ended up going to bed in 3 rounds. But the guys that could
or minutes,
but the guys that could actually box, had the art of boxing. He couldn't hold up with them. And again, even as corny as it sounds, guys, probably one of the painfulest moments in all of our sports career. Even Buster Douglas had the boxing in him. He didn't just go in there trying to go pound for pound, blow for blow. He went in there, he boxed, he picked and chose, he fell, he got up, but he continued to box.
Yeah, listen.
He didn't go in there to throw haymakers, and he ended up.
True that.
That Buster Douglas shit was I'd never seen shit like that in my life.
Me either. We almost got arrested that night.
Man, listen. I was like, I don't remember anything shocking me more than that shit, right? And the way he did it, and then just like the fall off the like that shit was heavenly anointed. The way he just beat the shit out of Mike and then fell,
bye-bye.
Just fell off the face of the earth. Like that was what you was put on earth for, man. To get Mike Tyson out of here.
Yeah.
Well, he went to jail. That's why he went to jail too. After he lost the Holyfield, he went to jail and he gained like 400 pounds, lost the weight, tried to come back, and it just didn't work out.
Right, but remember, guys, it was after that fight that now the boxers who were stepping in the ring with Mike felt like they had the leg up. And again, he kept getting alibi after alibi. Let's run it back with Holyfield and come on, guys. I told Art a story when he lost to Buster Douglas. They called the MPs on him. Right. We used to rotate people's houses in the housing area to watch the fights, and we were screaming, motherfuckers throwing shit on the yard, and here come the MPs like, "Yo, guys, we heard Mike Tyson lost, but this shit ain't gonna work tonight. Take your ass back in the house and knock it off.
Well, let's not forget too that clown that had the two idiots around him talking about Don King.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh.
I mean, when he was the biggest mistake Mike made, especially after Cuss the model died, was getting rid of Kevin Rooney. To me, you know what I'm saying? Because Kevin Rooney was his trainer. You know what I'm saying? Along
he
with
was.
The cat with the twitch of the stutter, right?
Yeah.
That was his man. He looked out for him. Yeah.
He sure did. But once Mike got rid of him, and then Don King swooped in and had those two cornballs. I know one last name was Holloway and Horn.
Yeah, that clown.
Right.
Yeah, they wasn't taking care of business like they should have been. They didn't have his
You know what I always thought, guys? Because back then I was kind of like into boxing.
Mm-hmm.
When Gus disappeared, even though I know he was at that time, I don't even think he was training Lennox Lewis. I was like, why don't Mike graduate to Emmanuel Stewart, probably who was the greatest trainer of that era? You know, he was the man. Then he took on the Holyfields, the Lewises, and the Prince Nazi Muhammad. And I was thinking, why don't Mike? And then I started thinking what R said. Here goes Don King with that voodoo shit,
with that voodoo
on people,
that bullshit. Yeah,
and then all of a sudden, that was, I hate to say it, the beginning of the end for Mike.
That was it.
That was it.
I will say this. I will say this. Since we're touching on the Buster Douglas fight with Tyson back in '91, Mike did win that fight. He did knock him out. He had the count, but for whatever reason, so in his defense, he did win that fight, but because it dragged on even longer, eventually Mike, like you guys said, there was no Rooney, there was no Caden, there was no Cuss, and I think there was no Robin Givens, to suck his dick afterwards. It was over.
And if y'all remember, because he tells the story, Bobby Brown. Him and Bobby Brown were getting toasted the night before. And Bobby Brown's trying to tell him, yo, man, go to bed. Mike Tyson was like, don't worry, Bobby. I'll go to the fight, man. I'll be back for the party.
Wow.
I'm eating his children.
He said he told Bobby Brown, I'll be back in a few minutes. I don't need no sleep. So Bobby Brown wakes up, and the question was to Bobby Brown was, was Mike Tyson mad at you? He said, how can he be mad at me? The mother didn't want to go to sleep. What am I going to do?
That wasn't Bobby
all
Brown.
Night drinking and partying and got knocked out.
Yeah, no, he was done when Rooney and just like Av said, you know what I'm saying? When the guys that had him upstate New York, when those dudes, when they had him isolated from the streets, they had him isolated from the bullshit, right? He start knocking motherfuckers out in 3 seconds, and then here come the demons. Right, and the demons, you know what I'm saying? He buying in the women and the drugs and all that. You know what I'm saying? And he was off anyway, man. Like he was off. So you put that kind of in a mix with a whole bunch of devilish stuff, and that's the end. That is it. He was fighting. Remember when he, like the Duva shit. His defense, like that was impenetrable. Like he there was nobody that could do anything to him. When he was the Lou Duva shit, you seen him let that go, man. If you watch boxing, he came like he used to start protected, curled up, and he would throw from all. But it was hit, and nobody could hit him in the fucking face. As them drugs and shit started fucking with him, and his protection started leaving, he would do this. He would separate. He would do this, and then he would drop it. He would. The ref would separate the shit. He'd come in and start swinging. Start swinging. I was like, that was when it was done because there was no science. there was no
was he feeling himself live again? Like what Bobby Brown said, is I'm going to be out there for a few minutes and I'm going to knock them out. And
he was definitely feeling himself because I mean, first of all, the fight was in Tokyo, so he was out there, drinking that sake, and I mean, Don, you probably know this from experience. If you ever go to Japan. It's party nightlife, and it doesn't ever really stop till the sun rises.
Yeah,
and then,
pretty much.
And I'm pretty damn sure that the night before, if what Bobby Brown's saying is absolutely accurate, because you can't really listen to a crackhead either.
Right. But we know, but again, we know Bobby Brown, who
exactly
who never ducked what he's done. I will give Bobby that credit. Bobby Brown never tried to sugarcoat what he did, because the story, I'm pretty sure y'all saw it. The story goes where, him and Mike would hang out and they would leave cars and just, go to the airport, leave a car. They got stuck in the snow. They're walking. They forgot where they parked the Lamborghini. And then the story takes over a new light when they were in Tokyo.
Right.
And Av, come on, we're military guys. We're not nowhere near privy to what these guys are getting when they go overseas. Yeah, come on, man.
You already know.
Bobby Brown said it was like 6 o'clock in the morning. Motherfucker was still drinking. Now, again, Bobby Brown ain't one to lie. I mean, he never tried to hide his shit. The sad part is the shit that he took on with, I hate to change it, with the Whitney Houston. It wasn't him. It wasn't him. It wasn't. It was her. It was her. She was the. Remember, guys, we're all old enough to remember.
Yeah, she
Bobby
put
Brown
him on.
His drinking and his weed.
Yeah.
I didn't know him to be smoking pipes and shit. Again, he never lies about his life. I love hearing him talk.
She put him on. That was
exactly.
She was the hood chick. She was the hood chick.
Exactly. She was
in
more
Newark,
than
Jersey.
I could sing her ass, so she was a bird.
Exactly.
I could not believe it. I could but you saw it, right?
Yeah.
Because it was like you see the videos and you see the pictures and it's all refinement. You know what I'm saying? That what was the cat from Ariston name, man? He dressed her up nice, man. Got the homie name, man. Old white cat. Yeah. He put the facade on her like we all got bamboozled, man. You know what I'm saying? But
yes, sir.
You seen her? You was a head. You can just sing. Get out of here! Like, oh my god! Like, and you know what I'm saying? But again,
Clyde Davis.
Clive Davis. That's what that.
Clive Davis.
But you know what was sad? This is what I love about doing this. When we go, you know what was sad? Bobby Brown fit the persona of this more than her. But it was him just doing it in his music and on stage and my prerogative and jiggy with it. And it wasn't him. That wasn't him in real life. He was a come on, guys. We know he was
okay, so let me give y'all some third hand shit, right? I used to, all right. I used to fuck with Smooth B, right? Nice and Smooth. I used to fuck with Greg Nice. I used to fuck with Smooth B. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Smooth B told us this story back then because he was there with Mike Tyson and Bobby Brown sniffing coke. That the only reason why I wasn't fucking with Smooth B because he was very open about his exotic drug use, right? I smoke some weed. You know what I'm saying? But you don't do that shit with everybody.
Right.
Because motherfuckers be lacing shit crazy. Right? So you just don't do that with everybody, including a motherfucker like that. But I heard third, fourth hand that story maybe a year too late after the fight when he fought Buster Mathis. Remember when Mike Tyson fought Buster Mathis?
I remember that.
Right, and his comeback. I heard about how hard he was partying because he didn't respect Buster Douglas. No. He just didn't respect Nick. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
no one knew who he was.
Yeah.
Right. Nobody did. So he was like, yo, I'm a sniff coke and smoke weed and fuck bitches till about 7:30. I'm gonna take me a shower. I'm gonna hit the bag, and then I'm gonna beat the shit out this nigga. I'm gonna be back. You know what I'm saying? And
I'll be back by 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like he thought that was gonna happen, but Buster Douglas' mother just passed, B.
Right. Yes, sir.
Remember that? Yes, sir.
And he was broke and he didn't and he was fit, you know what I'm saying? And he didn't have nothing.
Nah.
I would have beat the shit out of Mike Tyson too.
Exactly.
Like if my mom was just like, it wouldn't have been son, he would not have won that fight. And I'm scared of Mike Tyson, my man. You know what I'm saying? I seen him put his hand through a brick wall, and then break his shit. No, I'm not fucking with that dude.
What did we say live for a lot of fights that Mike Tyson had? What did live have to lose? What did live have to lose getting in the ring with Mike Tyson?
Nothing. Nothing.
He gonna make some money. Right. Yeah, he might lose a tooth. He might get knocked into oblivion. Right. But he gonna make some money just for getting in the ring. So that's what we thought about Buster Douglas. Let's be honest, guys.
Yes. Yeah.
We were like Mike Tyson. He'll be back in a few minutes, and the fight dragged on. We're all old enough to remember when the fight dragged on. Weren't you going like this? Oh shit!
Yo.
Yeah.
Well, damn, we're in uncharted territory.
Yo. What the?
How's this nigga still living? How's this nigga still living?
Exactly. Well, you remember, anytime Mike Tyson fought somebody that wasn't really on that level of competition at that time and whatnot, we pretty much knew, all right, this might go 2-3 rounds, in our heads and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? It might go 2-3 rounds. It's not gonna go longer than that. And like Dom just said, as the fight progressed on, you're like, oh shit.
When we started looking at our snacks,
right,
and our little pigs in the blanket,
right,
and we noticed the fight was lasting longer than our treats. We weren't used to that shit, man. We're like, oh damn, we ain't.
But you know what's crazy? Is that after that when Tyson fought Razor Ruddock the 2 times, and both those fights were relatively entertaining because Ruddock was he was about that shit.
Sure.
He was a boxer. I was thinking to myself, wait, Mike is actually trading blows. He's actually boxing him at the same time. So I thought he was on the come up of probably changing his style a little bit. But then he went to jail, and I'm like, fuck, it's over.
That was it. Yeah, that was it, Nick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh man, it was. Well, you can tell a million stories about. I'm telling you guys, we've never experienced this in a Tyson fight. Normally, when the fight was over, we all sat around, shot the shit, drank the rest of the beer, ate the rest of the food. I'll never forget, man. Sam Williams. He was like, yo, Dom, we done ran out of snacks. It's like the 8th round now, or something like that. It's like, like, oh, shit. this don't look good live.
Exactly.
Sleepy time.
That's it.
Yeah, that was. After that, guys, us Yankee fans.
Uh-oh.
I think it was the home run by Damon on the Red Sox when they came back from being down 3-0 to the Yankees. I think
that grand slam.
I think that because again, Tyson's Tyson. He's not a Knick or a Yankee, but of course, I love my Yankees. I think that is my most painful experience as a sports fan.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
And then after that to know we're the only team to lose a 3-0 lead.
Right. Right.
And I think we lost. Didn't we lose Game 7 in New York, Av?
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
7-3.
That was the most painful. Yeah,
that was hard.
Yeah,
that was hard.
Far.
That was hard.
Yeah, that
was hard. Let me move on a little bit. Let's get to the next. Speaking of Yankees, whatnot,
there we go.
The stadium is rocking tonight. It's like 9-3. These boys are just, you know what? While it's exciting and I get it, chicks dig the long ball.
Here we go.
But the torpedo bats.
They love the bats too, huh?
Yeah, apparently they love the bats. I seen a clip on the Yes Network. I seen a clip of one of the announcers holding a bat and looking at it and whatnot. And I don't know. Is this much ado about nothing or
yes.
Because I talked to Don about this before the show aired and started to come on and whatnot. And we was talking about this, and I was like, I just don't understand it, to be perfectly honest. I mean, I was looking at the TV as they were showing the bat. It looks the same. I don't have it in my hands. I'm not close up to it, so You know, but I'm just saying from what I saw on TV, it looks the same to me. And I'm like, what is this? This is a new fad.
Right.
I mean, yeah, you know what I'm saying? That now it's allegedly this factory that they're coming out of it's in supposed high demand. These bats, I don't know. I don't get it.
You think, not to cut you off, you think
Sure.
the way baseball is nowadays, you don't think they're checking for cork in bats. But like I said before we started this show,
Yes.
when the Yankees hit 17 home runs in 3 games, we're talking about torpedo bats.
Right.
When they lost 2 in a row, nobody mentioned a word about the bats, did they?
No.
What happened? They switched bats?
Well,
Stop.
I mean, they lost 2 in a row, but were they putting up like 7, 8, 9, 10 runs? Probably not.
No, exactly. I think they got shut out last night 4-0.
Okay.
Right?
No, it was 4-3. There was a 3-run dinger. Volpe hit a 3-run dinger in the ninth.
I clocked out at 4-0.
Yeah,
but again,
I caught it right after the Knicks game.
Okay,
yeah, we went all these games. Again, 17 home run. We're talking about torpedo bat. Some shit I never heard of.
Me neither.
But then we lose 2 in a row, and
not a peep.
Nobody said nothing about them torpedo bats. What happened? It's the Yankees, so we're gonna do like we have Nick for clicks. We got Yankee for clicks. There's probably more Yankee haters than there are Nick haters. Let's keep it a buck.
No, without a doubt.
Yeah, because we're
without a doubt
successful.
Not even
not
even a thing.
Not to throw my Knicks under the bus, but I'm just saying the Yankees have been, even without winning a World Series in a decade from 2010 to 20 for the first time in their history, we're still eons above the Knicks when it comes to winning, when it comes to professionalism.
No, the Yankees is a super friend.
To get Yankee for clicks with these bats, oh come on, man, that shit's gonna.
It's ridiculous.
But I did hear that there's other teams using these bats, guys.
Yes,
Cincinnati Reds.
It's apparently been around for about the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
You know, most notably over the last 2 or 3 years on different teams. And no one said a freaking word because, not just anybody had them. Now that a vast majority of the Yankees are using them because, they smartened up. And, of course, they just lost the World Series back in October. They have to get back to it, to kind of regain some of their prestige again. Now it's a problem. Look, I'm going to give you a little insight that, that some people will never give you because they're held by disclosure or confidentiality or whatever the case may be. Back in 2005, I used to work for a company called Upper Deck, the Upper Deck Company, the trading card company. Okay. So I worked security there, but at the same time, I was also working in quality assurance, and I was basically responsible for all the autograph cards. Every autograph whether it was baseball, football, basketball, hockey, golf, if it came through, I touched it, and I reviewed a lot of it. So when I started working there, there's an area called the game used room, and that's basically where they keep all the game used memorabilia, jerseys, bats, gloves, hats, whatever the case may be. Because sometimes they'll cut them up and they'll insert them in cards. So we would get shipments, especially at around the winter time to the fall, of all these bats that that Cooperstown doesn't want. If Cooperstown doesn't want them, then the trading card companies get them. So we would get a lot of these bats directly from the clubhouse, from all these teams.
Wow.
And of course, I actually held bats by Ken Griffey Jr. and Juan Gonzalez and guys like that.
Nice.
But then when it's time to dissect them and start cutting them up into small pieces so they can insert them on cards, the things you find in these bats that most of these trading card companies are held by strict confidentiality and disclosure agreements, which I'm no longer held to because that was back in 2005. We're in 25. What the fuck?
Right.
The amount of things you would find in some of these guys' bats is mind-boggling, and you would be surprised by the names of whose bat it was, what you found in them, and how long they've been doing that for.
Wow.
You would find bats with lug nuts like they're 3 inches thick, pure tire, pure rods of steel and aluminum inside the bat. And how will we know this? Of course, we're cutting the bats open. And then when we're putting them through the buzzsaw, we're thinking, hey, it's all wood. You shouldn't have a problem. No.
Right. So you got a problem.
So the fact that they're wasting their time now here in the year of our Lord 2025 with the New York Yankees using torpedo bats, oddly shaped bats. But for years, no one said a fucking word about the lug nuts that we found, the screws, the fucking the cork, this, that, all this stuff, all this foreign substance that is not supposed to be in a purely wooden or cedar bat. I don't know.
Couldn't say
Just for the Yankees. It's only just because of the Yankees, because we're the 27-time world champions, 41-time American League winners, freaking because we're the pinstripes. I mean, they just let go of the facial hair policy as a sign of goodwill, and here you go freaking trying to shit on them because now they're hitting 17 home runs in 4 games. Fuck you guys.
And you know what? Here's the weird thing, Avin. I told you this before the season started. I said, one, a lot of people, because of injuries, a lot of people are going to be kind of surprised with this Yankee pitching staff. They had some hiccups in these 6-7 games, but to be honest, guys, for what we're putting out there, we're doing great. But here's the catch, guys. Them games they hit 17 home runs. Name me a pitcher on Milwaukee you thought was going to win the Cy Young Award. I digress. Yeah, go ahead, Ab. You're looking. Go look at the box score. Yeah.
Right.
Think about that, guys. You think the Milwaukee Brewers had that kind of pitching staff where they were going to come to Yankee Stadium, opening day, opening week? I mean, again, I watched every game. I'm thinking.
And be lights out.
Yeah, I'm thinking to myself, well, I try to study baseball, Ab. You know I love baseball. Let me see who Milwaukee got on their staff.
Nestor Cortez. That's it.
Yeah, our guy. He gave up 4.
Our guy.
And you see what happened.
But what I did, guys, is I would go to their lineup, and especially if you use Yahoo, you click on the name, boom, it brings up the guy's stats.
Right,
so
right.
I'm like, man, there's a reason the Yankees did 17 home runs. They should have hit 30 with this bullshit pitcher staff.
Can I just say this, Dom, real quick?
Yes, sir.
And it's not really related to the torpedo bats. It's related to the Yankee offense and whatnot. Again, they're rocking tonight. The one thing that, and you heard me say this over and over, Dom.
Yeah.
I can't stand relying on the long ball. Again, hitting home runs is sexy for the women, all that good stuff, blah 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 blah. But again, I would love to see them manufacture more runs.
Yeah.
I mean, because
it's only been a week, Garb. It's only been a week. Give them. I mean,
yeah.
They played the Brewers, as Dom just alluded to, and they're playing the Diamondbacks right now. 2 teams that you're not expecting a lot from them, and you're not making them work. Right. So you got to give them. Let them go through a couple of slumps to see what happens.
There are some. I don't want to call them talking heads, but there are some baseball people that peg Arizona being a wild card team. Now, I've heard more positives about Arizona than I did Milwaukee. And it just so happens Milwaukee is in, let's keep it a buck, guys. If you know baseball, they're not in the hardest division to begin with.
Right.
So, with Arizona, they have a steeper hill to climb. And that's why, believe it or not, guys, and not to switch gears, but this is what it comes down to in baseball. There are people that say you spent almost $1 billion to get Soto for the Mets. When you talk team and you talk pundits, and I said this when it first started, you're still the 3rd best team in your division.
Right.
The Yankees could get off to a slow start because guess what? We went from the American League tough to maybe the American League least. I don't think there's a team in the American League East that could touch us with torpedo bats or SWAT.
Whatever.
Yeah, without fly swatters, whatever. That division is there for the taking. And the funny thing is, we got guys that are actually hitting the ball. And like Ab said, we're, a minute in, but you got guys like, and I love this guy. That's what made me confusing about why they got Goldschmidt. I thought this kid was going to be the next good thing. Rice. Right.
Ben Rice.
Yeah, I thought Ben Rice was going to be, okay, it's time for him to step up and give him a chance. You go out and get Goldsmith, who's 101 years old. Great defensive player, don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But even he's batting 4-something.
Judge
409. Jazz 304.
Right.
You know.
Let me
they're hitting home runs, guys. Then again, they are playing in Yankee Stadium too. So I mean, we'll see how this transfers when we start going on the road to these bigger and wider ballparks. Because let's keep it honest. Them couple of home runs that Jazz hit, you know, questionable. But then again,
they're like excuse me home runs.
Right. Then again, that grand slam that guy hit was probably a fly ball in another ballpark down the right field line.
Well, yeah.
So you give and take playing at Yankee Stadium. But I gotta get it, guys. Like Av said, we're what, guys? 6-7 games in. Ain't played a road game yet. So let's see what happens when they go on the road. And the weird thing is, guys, is I think with Torpedo bats or not, I still think the Yankees are the best. Not because I'm a Yankee fan, because I watch baseball. I still think the Yankees are going back to the World Series. I don't see a better team in the American League East. Honestly, Texas, maybe can they make a semi-comeback?
No.
Exactly. You got Baltimore.
Baltimore, maybe. Baltimore is like the only team that I'm like, maybe.
I was gonna say,
I look at Cleveland. You look at Cleveland. I mean, they're washed.
Yeah.
So like you're not worried about the White Sox. You're expecting, even if the Twins have one of those excuse me years where they it's their turn to win the AL Central. What are they going to do when they face the Yankees? Get swept again. So they're a wash. Detroit still hasn't figured it out. Then you look out west. The Angels haven't figured it out. The Mariners are still in shit. Who am I missing?
What they used to be. And that's why I say, I think most pundits are saying, and so far so good, they won 5 out of 7. Texas.
Right.
Remember, Texas won the World Series 2 years ago.
Exactly.
Then they had that big fall off last year, but they still have the makeup of being a good team. So I think, only me, guys, from the baseball in me, that I believe it's going to be the Yankees in Texas in the American League Championship. And I think the Yankee bats are
gonna do Yankee things. They're gonna do Yankee things.
Right. We can say what we want. The Yankees, according to Art, he was correct. That home run or bust came back to Hornets against the Dodgers. Granted, the Dodgers, let's be honest fans, guys. The Dodgers are a better team. They were a better team. They probably still are right now.
Right.
So the Yankees would have to catch lightning in the bottle, 3 out of 7 games in order to keep this interesting.
Well, like I said, we'll see. Let me bring our brother in. Thanks for joining us. The Bishop is live. What's up, brother? How you doing tonight?
What's going on, fellas?
Oh, he came right on time for the Knicks. Oh, he be watching in the background. What up?
What's up, Chef D?
Well,
I got to admit, guys, before we jump into the Knicks and get Bishop's blood pressure up, I told you on the text, I haven't watched a game in
5, 6, 7 games.
Yeah, I have not watched a game because I'm like, I'm kind of clocked out, burnt out, plus baseball season started. I'm like, shit, the Knicks are in the playoffs. The chances of them losing the 3rd seed are, slim to thin. So what am I really missing? I mean, they played the Sixers. I mean, shit, if you watch that game, I love you, man. You're a real fan.
Yeah, I watched it.
Maybe I'm not a real fan anymore. I'm just saying.
Nah, you're a true fan, brother.
Guys, serious. And plus, the Torpedo bats was kind of locked into all these home runs. I'm like, I don't want to watch no damn Knicks. Fucking Yankees are hitting shit to 166th Street. I'm not watching no Knicks. Get out of here.
Okay.
But here we are.
So should we change up this order? You want to do some Knicks talk? You want to do some John Morant? You want to do some Carmelo?
Let's not disappoint Bishop. Let him get it off his chest.
Wait. My man, Av, what's up, man? What's going on? You all right, brother? You all right? John, I think bothered you a little bit.
I gotta say one thing, guys, before Bishop goes on the rant. Hopefully, by the end of tonight, we have an actual Knicks come to Jesus moment. Because I think the real basketball person in you should be starting to click right now. I'm just saying. We'll get into that part after Bishop gives his Knicks soliloquy.
Go right ahead, sir. And I agree. That text, I was like, hey, yeah, come on now. So with that being said, sir, Bishop, the floor is yours.
So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what Dom is referencing, but like I said, since like last season, I'm like, yeah, if the Knicks want to go to that next level, this guy is not the guy for us. He's not the guy. If they want to go to the next level, now when I say next level,
You talking about Tibbs?
yeah, when I say next level, I'm talking about beyond just barely winning 50 games, showing up for the first round because you got to give me round. But when you get to the second round, I'm realistic. This team ain't winning no championship. I knew that. However, for me as a basketball fan, I'm always looking to see progress. I'm always looking to see like that next level because this thing goes in stages. Like you don't just automatically, unless you're able to draft like the next player or the next few players that are in the league already, you don't go from one season to the next season and win a championship. It's building blocks. So I think like the Knicks right now are stagnant in their building blocks. We've won 50 to 53 games or whatever, or 55 games. All these seasons, we've gotten some stability. That's what he brought us, stability. But what I'm looking for is progression. I'm looking for something that takes that Knicks to that next level. You can say, okay, well, Towns doesn't do this, Towns doesn't do that. There's coaches that get the best out of the players that they have at the point that they have them. I'm not disillusioned to say that we have a championship team because we don't. We don't have a championship level coach. We don't have a championship level offense. We still running that same Brunson, you get it, do the footwork and see how it goes. You've already realized that teams know how to stop it. They know how to play against it. And when that happens, there's no adjustment to it. It's just, okay, well, we had our game plan. It didn't work. So I'm going to stand over here on the sideline with my arms folded and allow the game to happen to me instead of making some kind of adjustment. Now, I know my boy Dom, he's like, well, who else are we going to get to coach? There's nobody else. You know what I'm saying is, I'm sick and tired of all of these burnt out, washed out coaches that have not done anything in their career outside of just provide stability. At this stage, we should be, as Knicks fans, we should be expecting more. We should be expecting more. And I'm like, if you look at what his career has been, what Tibbs' career has been, he's been that career almost guy. He's been that career, I call him Captain Mediocre. He's been there for his whole career. He's been there for his whole career. When you see these young coaches coming in and surpassing him in like half the time, now you could say, well, it's their talent, it's their this, it's their that. You got 15 NBA level players there. I'm not saying everybody's a Jason Tatum. I'm not saying everybody is, a Donovan Mitchell. I'm not saying, but these guys are capable of playing at a high level. So as a coach, it's your job to get the best out of them. And if you can't get the best out of them, which I'm not seeing, at some points I'm looking at these games and it's like guys are tuning him out. Guys are tuning him out. And the thing that you're supposed to be so good at, defense, where are the Knicks when the defense counts? When you're playing against these teams that the Bostons, the Clevelands, the OKCs, whatever, we're getting destroyed. We're getting destroyed. It's not even competitive. It's not even competitive. And that's what I'm talking about, progression. We're not on the level of those teams, but they should feel like they had a game when we played them. All season I've been watching these teams been working out. They play the New York Knicks, they working out. Like the guys are laughing, guys are throwing oops, they getting, this is my career night against the Knicks. I'm coming into the Garden and I'm showing out. And it's like, how long are we're gonna sit here and watch this debacle and say, okay, well, this dude is the guy? He's not. I said this last season during that second round where you got outcoached by a burnout has-been in Carlisle against the Indiana Pacers. You could say injuries, whatever. We still had enough talent to beat that team.
No, we didn't.
No, we didn't.
No, we didn't, Bishop. Come on.
We still had enough talent to beat that
We
team.
we were out of gas. We were completely out of gas by then.
You can't take your B and C players and think they're going to measure up to any team. It could have been Indiana. It could have been the Baghdad Bullies.
So
they're not going to measure up to the other team starting five.
Then I ask you, was Indiana starting five that much better than the New York Knicks starting five?
What we put on the court, yes. When you start taking away Mitchell Robinson, OG
Julius Randle.
Yes,
I don't even count Julius Randle. He's proven that his game is not playoff type basketball.
What I'm getting at, Bishop, and not to cut you off, but I'm talking about right off the bat, we was playing -3 starters to their 5 starters. So we were -3 to begin with. This is where the Josh Harts of the world came in, that we all of a sudden thought this guy was the next Elgin Baylor.
I remember his back was hurting.
Right. He was forced into that position. But again, when we say progression, what do we mean by progression? Is it an individual thing with the fan, or is it a statistical thing of where we progressed before he was here?
So when I say progression, we went 50 games the season before last, the season before that.
No, we only won 50 games once.
The games, so we won 40 something games last season.
Right.
Okay. So what I'm saying is each season, the games that you lost that you were supposed to win. So this season, I mentioned this last season too. There were about 20 games that we lost that it's like, we shouldn't be losing to those teams. We shouldn't be losing to those teams.
That many?
Yeah. It was like 15 to 20 games that it was like.
But that's like saying
this season.
Bishop, let me just say this real quick. That's like saying Cleveland has 15 losses. Boston has 20 losses. Indiana got 31 losses. Oklahoma City got you're telling me that none of them lost because we don't follow it because none of them lost not one of those games to a team they should have beat. It's the NBA. This shit happens. I mean,
I got that. I
just think, and I'm gonna say this real quick. This is what I mean about the come to Jesus movement. We got to come to the realization of 2 things. You look at every team that's playing better than the Knicks right now. Cleveland, Boston, Oklahoma City. I think we're the 4th or 5th best team in the NBA. Every one of those, what do every one of those teams have in common?
They ran it back.
Continuity. We don't have that. We're expecting miracles. I don't care who the coach is. The coach could be Red Auerbach. We're expecting these miracles in where we at, guys? 76 games. When these guys have been together 3 to 5 years, 4 to 6 years. I mean, Jason Tatum and Brown was supposed to win a chip how many years ago? And they finally won one in their 6th and 7th year with a different coach. So you gotta put some onus on. One, I think we put. Forgive me for saying this. I think we put too many eggs in some individuals' baskets. I say this all the time, and I'm honestly saying this, that I've never in my life remember a team that has to take their 2 best players out the game down the stretch and rotate offense for defense in all the years I've watched the NBA. But the Knicks have to do that.
But you don't think that there's a problem?
Towns and Jalen Brunson can't guard a pillow.
But you don't think that that's a problem? You don't think that's a problem?
Because you're taking.
It is a problem, but how's that on the coach? How's that on the coach if Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns just don't match up well against their opponent.
Not just that, Ab. Let me just finish. Like I always say, you knew Karl Anthony Towns, unless you didn't follow basketball. You knew who Karl Anthony Towns was before he came to the Knicks. If you didn't, I apologize. Because, again, Minnesota Timberwolves bankrolled their whole future to bring in a guy to play center because Karl Anthony Towns couldn't. Right? And this is a defensive player of the year that you went out and got to hide this guy. So when he came to the Knicks, who do you think he was? Bill Russell? No, he's not. He's not that guy when it comes to defense. And then we'll go to the analogy of, well, Tibbs is a defensive coach. You know, I always say this, guys, maybe it's the Army in me, but there's certain things that are individual tasks. You staying in front of your man is an individual task. You boxing out on the boards is an individual. The coach can't tell you to do this shit. So I just think the Knicks, are not better than at least 4 teams in the NBA.
So let's take a time out.
3 of them are in the East.
Let's take a time out for a second. So,
go ahead.
When you say that, so this season, Atlanta beat the New York Knicks twice. Right. Chicago beat the Knicks. Utah Jazz beat the Knicks.
Yeah.
Detroit Pistons beat the Knicks.
And we still got 48 wins.
So again, these games that I'm talking about, like, we shouldn't be losing to the Utah Jazz. They made a simple adjustment during the game, and we were lost. We had no in-game adjustment. Atlanta is flailing. Atlanta Hawks is flailing. They're barely holding on, and they beat us twice.
Right.
They beat us twice handily.
But again, Bishop, Atlanta got 36 wins. Even Utah has 16 wins. So they beat somebody else. They didn't just beat the Knicks. We could. I'm not talking
about anybody else except for the Knicks.
Even everything.
I'm not talking about anybody else except for the Knicks.
No, I'm just saying. You're telling me we lost to these teams.
Yo, throw it up for that man right there, boy.
No, I'm saying you're saying you're bringing these teams up, but I see
no. I'm saying that
Utah beat 16 other teams.
Nah, I'm saying
Atlanta
that
beat 36 other teams.
Bishop is not happy unless the Knicks go 82-0. That's basically what he's saying.
I understand where he's coming from.
There's not a lot of wiggle room in your assessment.
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying.
Hold on. Just let me say this, Bishop.
Try not to overtalk each other, please.
Right, you and Live have been dead set on getting rid of Tibbs. I get it. That's a personal thing.
Same here.
Yeah, and Rodney, whatever. That's your personal decision.
Right.
I just don't see who you're going to get. We always say replace them. We don't know with who. And are you going to go in reverse?
Let me tell you something.
You're saying, like, who you going to get to replace?
Exactly. Let me tell you something.
There's plenty of coaches out here.
Let's not talk over.
Name them. Please name them.
Yeah, let's not forget one thing.
Please name them.
Guys.
I can't name.
Name them.
Oh my God.
Who knew?
I can name one.
Go ahead, Live.
Sam Cassell.
Michael Smickenfurth in the video room on the Bucks.
Okay,
look at all of y'all faces. I'm telling you, kids.
I said, Deontay is available. Sam Cassell available. Sam Cassell available.
Okay, let's get
the same place they got Spoelstra, same place they got Mike Brown, same place they got Johnny Bryant.
All right, let's get all of
that. Now again, no. Let me do it, Stephen A. by saying I don't want no new cat running this team because we already spent the money on it.
Right,
but there's somebody out there.
Yeah. So when that guy comes in, I want to see a transformation of Karl Anthony Towns on defense, Jalen Brunson on defense, and according to Bishop, my brother who I love, Captain Courageous, who, believe it or not, guys, I think the Knicks haven't been playing that bad without him. So, is he the miniature version of James Harden? I don't know. I'm not going to say that. All I'm saying is we can't play them on defense down the stretch. So we bring in Sam Cassell. Brunson's going to turn into Chris Paul. Karl Anthony Towns is going to turn into Bill Russell, and the world is good again. I get it. I do. I want to see it happen.
You going back towards Bishop with the absolute thing. You feel me? We know Cat is not going to be no defensive. His medical case is solid. That shit is made of adamantium. It's done. He's finished on that. We now know that because of Brunson's weak ass defense, we went from 17th to 5th in his absence. You understand what I'm saying? So we know the disparity in them. And just like you said, Dom, somebody got to take responsibility for what the fuck is their fault. That shit is their fault.
Right.
Them individuals, but at the same time, understand what I'm saying? There are a plethora of other situations that is directly Tibbs' fault. And to Bishop's point, some of them games, right? Some of them 15, I didn't think it was that many, but some of them 15 is because he got coached by Manuel Smickenberg.
Let me ask you a question, Lon. Since Eric Spoelstra is Marlon the fucking Magician, did you know the Knicks have beat them 7 out of the last 8 times they played them?
I did because I hate that.
Marlon the Magician. I hate everybody who won that one.
You know that the Heat have been to the. How many times they've been to the championship?
Done, Bishop. I'm talking.
How many times have they been to the championship?
This guy outcoached this guy. Y'all say it all the time. But the Knicks have beat him 7 out of 8 times. Marlon the Magician. But again, a guy like Eric Spoelstra, who has been with the same organization forever, who's got basically everything he ever wanted as a coach. But now, guys, Marlon the Magician don't have all of these ace of spades to play with. How's that working out for Marlon the Magician? I understand he went to the championship. I understand they actually stole one from Van Gundy, who should have won one of them rings, but that's another story for another day. But now look at the Miami Heat. What is Marlon the Magician doing when you don't have the ace of spade and the king of spade?
So what you're doing is a false equivalency. It's a false equivalency because you're looking at the turmoil that Miami just went through. The disgruntled.
It's been 2 years now, guys.
The disgruntled. So how long was Jimmy Butler playing that game where it's like, well, if I can't get a sit down and I can't get a talk for this new contract, I'm not gonna play. I'm gonna miss 10, 15 games at a time because they're not giving me what I want.
Right.
But
great point.
To me, so I'm a diehard Knicks fan.
But when you were winning, Jimmy Butler was the next greatest thing to Bob McAdoo.
But I'm a diehard Knicks fan. I'm a diehard Knicks fan. So when I'm saying that, if as a Knicks fan, I'm tired of we were a joke for quite some time. We were a joke, and I was still a fan. We were a joke. Now we've gotten to the point where we're stabilized, where we know we're going to win half of our games, maybe a little bit more. We'll come in at that 50 win mark. We're going to get to the playoffs, and then we're going to have that second round exit.
We're not good enough. Team.
We're not good enough. We're not good enough as an organization. We're not good enough as a coach. We're not good enough as an organization. We can't get our players to buy into what we're selling. We can't get our players to buy into what we're selling. Now you got Brunson. I'm having a real hard time wrapping my mind around the fact that it's been 12 games since he sprained his ankle.
14.
Huh? Brunson. 14 games since he sprained his ankle.
Mm-hmm.
That's been like almost a month for a sprained ankle.
Mm-hmm.
I'm having a problem understanding with all of the technology and all of the other stuff, as I put in the text message.
Mm-hmm.
How is it 14 games that you missing? He didn't tear his ankle. He just sprained his ankle. So what else is going on here? Because
it was a high ankle sprain, and given the degree of the sprain, you can't put a time limit on it. So
that's not.
I mean,
no. What I'm saying is, when he was actually playing, he wasn't listening to anything Tibbs was saying anyway. So what I'm saying is he was doing whatever he wanted to do.
But let me stop right there. Why don't none of these players ever say this?
Because they won't get another check.
Even when they're gone, when Thibodeau is gone and they're gone from Thibodeau, you never heard a player badmouth Thibodeau.
So even his boy, even his boy, Josh Hart was like a couple of times this season, we got to move the ball. We got to pass the ball. We got to do this. We got to do that.
Right.
Now, with Tibbs, again, he provided some stability. He's a nice guy. That's fine. We ain't winning. We ain't going to the Eastern Conference Finals. He's not that guy. He's not that guy. And you can say, okay, well, he's done this, he's done that. This is the most talented team that he's ever had. If you look at all the teams that he's had, what team did he have that was more talented?
That 62-win Chicago Bulls team with Derrick Rose and Luol Deng
and what happened to them? And what happened?
They fell out too. Eventually they got burnt out because Rose got hurt. And fucking Noah was battling injuries. Dame was hurt. Eventually they got burnt out, and they were playing against the much more talented Miami Heat team. So what do you want them to do?
What you just said was they got burned out. So
they all got burnt out.
The same philosophy that he used there is the same philosophy that he's using here. So again,
where's Joel Embiid right now? Where's Paul George right now? Where's Victor?
I don't care about
right now.
I don't care about.
We always bring up the minute.
They have Pats right now.
Somebody brought up a good point the other day. Mikal Bridges leads the league in minutes. He does. Kevin Durant, who got blown out legs, string bean arms, is 1 minute behind Mikal Bridges. What's his name on Phoenix? What's his name? The shooting guard.
Booker.
30 seconds. He's playing 30 seconds less than Mikal Bridges. But here's the catch. Mikal Bridges and Josh Hart, are they our stars? Are they the ones we're depending on down the stretch? No, they're role players. They're role players. So if they play 38 minutes, then that's, again, I love the way these guys play. Let's remember one thing, and I hate to say this, I like Mikal Bridges, but I think he did a bitch move with the minutes and the playing of the bench. You know why he did that, right, guys?
No.
Because his boy, he's trying to get his boy some playing minutes.
But can I add something on that?
Trying to get Shaman some minutes. So you throw the coach under the bus with this pitch move. You're a guy that hasn't missed a game since high school. And now all of a sudden you wake up today saying, we need to play some of the guys on the bench because your boy ain't getting no burn.
But was he right, though?
No, he wasn't. He wasn't
right.
Do you think he was right?
Okay,
do you think Shaman deserved more minutes?
Isn't he earning them? Wait, hold on. Dom, is he not earning them right now? Is he not showing out why you should play him more minutes? He's working out.
Here's the thing, guys. There's always the quagmire when we talk about minutes and rotation. Just like all of a sudden this Kolick guy is the next Nate Archibald.
No.
But the kid can't shoot. He can't guard nobody.
Only Steve believes that.
Yeah, he needs minutes. But when you give these guys minutes, and I heard G say it on our show. Remember when G said, you know what? Even if it's garbage time and you come in the game, you need to prove something. And guess what? Even during garbage time, these guys ain't proving nothing. Now, all of a sudden, Shamit's going to have 3 good games, and now he's what, Jerry West? Come on, guys. There's a reason he stopped playing.
Hold on. In the defense of that, Landry Shamet has worked out. DeLon Wright has worked out. He's both those guys are showing you why you need to play more minutes. Precious Achiuwa all of a sudden has an offensive game to speak of that we can't.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
If Precious Achiuwa didn't take another shot till summer camp, I
won't care about
the dude
that.
hit like 3 shots in the last 4 games.
But to Av's point, but to Av's point,
don't need to be shooting the ball.
To Av's point, Shamet needs to be in rhythm. You know what I'm saying? He needs minutes to be in rhythm. He needs minutes. So they had some cat on Cleveland last night named Merrill. That's shooting their eyes out. Who the fuck is that dude?
Yeah, he's
never heard of him.
No, he's been playing. No, he's been playing. He's been playing, and just like Ty Jerome,
Right.
Those guys have been playing. They've been in the rotation.
My point is like fuck that.
Y'all just be. Sometimes I get upset with you guys because y'all just catch something.
No,
talking about this
because I don't think nobody's saying that you don't have points, right? But I'm
10 minutes a game.
Like you're not including the inefficiency in our offense. You're not talking about the lack of continuity and chemistry that you talking about. You talking about chemistry, but then you talking about not playing the other 8 cats down there mixing Gatorade.
Come on, guys. Let's be honest. If you watch basketball, what's the average team's rotation?
9, 8,
8, 9, maybe. Most of the time, 8. Let's keep it a buck. Right. It's normally an 8-man rotation.
During the playoffs.
Now, don't forget, and it gets lower in the playoffs. Let's not forget. In the beginning of the year, according to you guys, we was missing Jerry West and Andrew Shamet. We were missing Payne for a while. We were missing Deuce McBride for a while. We were missing Mitchell Robinson for a while. But guess what, guys? If you watch the numbers like I do, when they came back and they were healthy, let's check their minutes. So it's a narrative, and it's always going to be a narrative when it comes to
what about their minutes? They didn't get none.
They've increased. Well, when we got healthy,
what is it? 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 11.
That's normally your going rate for a 6-7 guy, a 7-8 guy coming off the bench. You show me a guy that
all of us know that they haven't been getting those minutes in any kind of cohesive pattern, right? It's whoever gets
the numbers don't say that live.
We don't need the numbers. We watch every game.
I think what we're missing
numbers for that.
So when you get a guy like Andrew,
hold on, we're talking.
Yeah, go ahead.
Right.
Y'all ain't following the ball though.
Shamet doesn't play if 1, somebody gets hurt, or 2, Bridges speaks up. Right? Achua doesn't play or gets his minutes cut if somebody isn't hurt. Right? Or you understand what I'm saying? It's the same pattern with everybody. The way that he abused Cam, even when Brunson got hurt and Deuce got hurt, and still was giving them these sporadic minutes and staving off that. So Josh Hart with his non-shooting ass could bring up the ball more. You understand what I'm saying? Those players didn't get. Now I'm not saying that you're wrong in the minutes that these bench dudes get. It's just that by this time now, if we didn't have so many injuries, these players that we're talking about that didn't need them 13, 10, 11 minutes, they wouldn't have got that.
So let me ask you a question, Live.
Your numbers, you know what I'm saying? Our first 6.5 is leading the league.
Who's our first guy coming off the bench?
Dom. We got. Do we have 3 players, 3 or 4 players on our squad in that top 10?
How many minutes do you think? I'll go by what you're saying, Live. How many minutes do you think Landry Shamet should get a game?
See that's a nuanced question, brother.
No, I'm saying these guys don't get minutes.
What I'm saying, Dom, is he should get steady minutes, and he doesn't.
How many minutes you think he's getting?
Because of industry. I mean,
can I say this? Hold on, Live. I'll give you an answer to that, Dom, and it's actually the most reasonable answer to that question. Landry Shamet should get the amount of minutes depending on the game and the matchup that we have at that moment. Okay. So if on one game he's only playing 5 minutes, if the next game, if he's got a better matchup, then he should play 13 to 15. Right. But that's the way a normal team should be doing it.
And that's how you come up with an average. We can't sit here and tell us.
But he's not playing average.
Even us watching every game, you can't tell me you're sitting there and you're saying, "Oh my God, we need this guy right now," and the guy's playing 15 minutes a night.
You know what? Watch this, Dom. With all respect in the world,
go ahead,
yeah. You know why I'm saying that? You know what I'm saying? Because and Av, you know this. Please back me up on it. Josh Hart is the worst.
Oh,
He is the worst. You understand what I'm saying? I got 100 screenshots of his man being in a concession stand getting chocolate covered popcorn while he behind the fucking line. You understand what I'm saying? If I'm not saying don't give Josh Hart 38 minutes. I'm saying that the other 10, 15, let Shamit start the game and keep the defense even. I mean, and keep the defense authentic. Let him get into his rhythm.
What you guys are talking about, what Dom, what Live, what you guys are talking about is not about minutes. It is about offensive strategy and game plan. That's what it's about. It ain't about how many minutes, because if you look at all the successful teams in the league, those bench players, if you got 4 bench players, those guys are giving you 5 to 10 points a game. So now you got bench production. Before we had all of these injuries or whatever, none of those guys were playing. So the problem was we don't get any bench production. Now I'm not expecting Shamit to come out there and give us 20 points a night. I'm expecting Shamit to come out there and give us 5 to 8 points a night. I'm not expecting.
You know what I'm expecting Shamit to do? I'm expecting Shamit to give us spacing.
But I'm saying right.
Because you're absolutely, even if he go 0 for 5, you're not gonna play Shamit like you do Hart.
But we don't have a good offensive
point. Shamit is giving us 5 points a night.
We don't have a good offensive strategy. So therefore, when Brunson comes back, we do the same thing. We top heavy with the starters. If they don't give us the points, we don't get any production off the bench. Deuce may come in. All right, fine. Deuce will give you about 10, 15 points a night. But other than that, none of those other guys produce anything. I'm not expecting Precious Achiuwa to average 15 points a game.
Can we just
I'm expecting him to get some rebounds, get some putbacks, be a part of the offense.
I hate to say this as a Knicks fan.
How come? Well, let me ask you this:
Are they that good?
No. How come?
No.
How come Quentin Grimes can go?
Not. But it's all we got.
But I'm saying, how come Quentin Grimes can go to other situations, and shine like how he's shining? He still plays the same.
That's
game.
a Quentin Grimes problem. Because let's be honest, Bishop, we gave him the keys to the car. We gave him the keys to the number 2 guard.
Yes, we did.
We gave him the keys to the shooting guard.
You gave him the minutes, but he never touched the ball.
He
gave him the minutes, but he never.
That's his fault. That's his fault.
That's his fault. You weren't a 1 option. You weren't a 1 option. You weren't a 2 option. But we gave you the keys. We gave you the keys to the car. I'm tired of hearing that shit about Grimes where he went after this.
And furthermore, will Quentin Grimes be averaging what he's averaging now if Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, and Paul George will be playing right now? No, they wouldn't. He would be the 5th option off the bench.
But what I'm not saying that he was going to be averaging those 30 points a night. But I'm saying
he wouldn't.
if he was coming off the bench, wouldn't we be able to use somebody like that?
No question.
If he looked for a shot, sure. Right. But we already got somebody. But we already got somebody like that. We already got another kid. He got traded last season?
No. When did he get traded? When did he get in the doghouse? When he spoke up about being on the court for 32 minutes and not touching the ball 1 time.
That's
on him.
Problem.
And the funny
that's a Quentin Grimes problem.
Live and Av. No, I used to defend him.
Yeah.
We gave this guy the keys to the car.
Oh no, but Tebow outplayed that man.
Don broke it down. Don broke it down into shots. It's like between the 97 shots that we were taking tonight, you had 40 coming from Randall, and you had 30 something from Brunson. You had 15 from this guy, 10 from that guy.
When was he going to shoot?
When was he going to shoot? It just didn't make sense. But now. No, it goes. Not necessarily. It goes to him because he had the opportunity. Let's not act like if you're not on the floor, you don't grab the ball. Like you don't catch a rebound and do a coast to coast like Josh Hart does. That's how he gets his. That's how he averages the points that he does. That's not saying that he can't. cut to the backboard, or or run a screen and do a give and go. He doesn't do any of that.
So
That's not his game.
So
Every-
OG Anunoby and Bridges were not capable of doing what they're doing now. It's just that Brunson didn't give them the ball. So when Brunson was dominating,
He was they were always capable of doing it. It's just a matter of take your opportunity. Come on, Bishop. I know you've played ball before. If you get the ball, if you get the rock, and you have the opportunity to shoot it, then you shoot it. If you don't and you pass it up, who's getting the glory? Is it you giving the assist or the dude that dunked it on his man?
So it's the coaching strategy. Coaching strategy that's got us jammed up.
But
Strategy that's got us jammed up.
to regular basis, if you're top three, I don't care what team you're on. It could be the Celtics, because their top three are taking the 3 more shots. Cleveland, same thing. Lakers, same thing. Oklahoma City, same thing. So if you're the 4th guy on the pecking order and you're still averaging 6 to 10 shots a night, maybe you should be knocking them shots down.
Correct.
Yeah.
Again, we threw everybody under the bus, guys. We had other guys we thought could be the 2 guard. But no, we said Quentin Grimes. So you had the keys, you had the opportunity. And just like Av said, if all these guys were on Philadelphia, he's the same Quentin Grimes on the Knicks.
Yeah.
Same exact guy. He's getting 6 to 8 shots a night.
You got two things when Quentin Grimes was there. Jalen Brunson purposefully overlooked him because when Dante DiVincenzo got into the game, got into the game, all of those opportunities, suddenly the 2 guard were finding all these shots for the 2 guard. When Quentin Grimes in the game, no shots. Dante DiVincenzo comes into the game, all of a sudden now, I remember one game he took 18 shots. He found 18 shots for him. So again, it's the strategy, offensive strategy of the coach. That's
Bishop,
what I'm getting to.
That's a stretch, bro.
Let me rock for 1 second.
Huge stretch.
Just let's say one day, live. You know what? Quentin Grimes played with the Knicks a year before Brunson got there.
Okay, so I don't think Bishop is lying, B. We need the mathematicians on this. I know that Grimes shot about 7 to 8 shots a game that year. Devo shot about 12 or 14. Y'all look that up. So somebody was getting the rock a little bit more than others. So you know what I'm saying? Bishop is not lying.
How many? Hold on. We all watch enough Knicks games live. We all watch enough Knicks games, and we've had enough post games and enough conversation. How many times have, at least in any one of my shows, did we say, well, what was Quentin Grimes doing? Why was Quentin Grimes just standing in the corner? Why wasn't he defending his man? Why wasn't he doing this? So again, to Dom's point, he was given opportunities and he didn't pan out. It's not a Jalen Brunson reason. It's not a Julius Randle reason or a Tom Thibodeau thing. It's just Quentin Grimes just didn't work out. He just didn't have he had the opportunity. He didn't cash it in. That's what happened. Same thing happened with RJ Barrett. Same thing happened with Frank Ntilikina. When you give the guy an opportunity, Kevin Knox, you give the guy an opportunity, and if they don't pan out, they don't pan out. Sometimes they work better out when in a new setting. It just happens to be circumstances. Right. It's not on Thibodeau. It's not on Brunson. It's not on anybody on the Knicks squad right now. It's on Quentin Grimes himself.
Right. What I'm saying is the numbers say it's both, Av, right? Because he didn't take advantage of his 7-8 shots, right? We can agree on that. Because I mean, it's the numbers, right? You know what I'm saying? So he got shots, right? Devo took advantage of his 12-14.
He did, because he was also kind of like a backup point guard, so he was doing a lot of the handling. And Devo's actually a playmaker in comparison to Grimes. Look at the style of game.
I'm not saying he didn't play better than Grimes. He took that spot. I'm not. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is he got a better chance at the spot than Grimes did. He definitely did. You can look in the numbers. He only got the ball about 8 times, 8 times. Devo got it 12, 14 times.
No, it was on average. It was. I'm looking at it right now, Lot.
Okay.
On average, Grimes 7.8 shots. DiVincenzo 9.9.
Yeah.
Now
So
you got
average.
one guy shooting
That was
48%. You got on average, Bishop.
There were games that
the only thing
DiVincenzo
you
shot
probably
18
have a little
shots.
leg to stand on. First of all, they were only on the same team for 1 year. Grimes shot 39 from Grimes. Yeah, Grimes shot 39 from the field, 36 from three. DiVincenzo shot
44.
Yeah, he's in the 40s.
Okay.
In the 40s.
Yeah, see? Son, I'll be looking at this shit, bro.
2023, Grimes shot 40. DiVincenzo, 44.3 from the field, 40.1 from three. So, in other words, if he averaged 3 more shots than Grimes, it's because he earned 3 more shots than Grimes.
You know what? I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
We always say it live. Numbers don't lie. People lie with numbers.
Right.
So you could interpret numbers any way you want, but the numbers are there for a reason. That's the reason we have the word called average.
But we saw Grimes falter. We saw that.
Yes. And it ain't like we were rooting against them.
We saw that. You know what I'm saying?
We weren't rooting against them.
Right. We also seen JB ice the shit out of RJ too, though. Right?
But that needed to happen. That needed to fucking happen.
He needed to be iced. Exactly.
He needed to be iced.
Put him in the freezer.
I agree with that one. Yo, we all agree on that.
Let's keep it a buck and let's all go home happy. There ain't one person on this line. 1, 2, 3, 4. There ain't 1 out of 6 of us on this line that woke up the day they traded RJ Barrett and said, "Oh man,
I wasn't." Yeah, you're right though.
Yeah, tell the truth. We could have traded RJ Barrett and quickly for Rodney Jones and Mr. Live, and we would have still woke up that morning and said,
for some Canadian ham steak.
I always say this, y'all heard me say this for years, or at least 3 years now. You went to bed one day. Not literally, but during the stretch. You went to bed, and the Knicks got rid of Quentin Grimes, R.J. Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly. But they kept one guy.
Deuce.
And they gave him a little measly 3-year, $15 million contract. It was Deuce McBride.
Right.
And how's that worked out?
Fabulous.
I'm not even going to say we got OG Anunoby, because I still think we can't sugarcoat shit, guys. I really am appreciating that he's actually probably going to play more games this year than he's played except one time in his career.
OG is the second best player on this team.
Right. Live, me and you had these conversations when they were going to re-sign him.
Yeah.
Me and Shamik, who y'all call Shamik, my friend Craig, me and him live, we had the same conversation. Yo, how are we going to give this guy all this money? He's only played 70 games once his whole career. But you know what? This year, so now when you have the naysayers saying, well, we gave up RJ back. You know what? We gave up Quickly, and he benefited from it. Say what you want, Tibbs. Don't play the young guy. Quickly took advantage of every minute Tom Thibodeau gave up, and it manifested into a contract with Toronto.
Yes, sir.
Keep it a buck. Keep it a
Him
buck.
and his family,
Keep it a buck. He got his money because the Knicks do. Again, I'm on Bishop's side more than y'all believe. I honestly am not that sold on Jalen Brunson. I'm not. I'm not thinking the Knicks went and traded or signed, Nate Archibald. I mean, I like Jalen Brunson, but I'm like Bishop. Sometimes, again, man, it's hard to be honest being a fan because you want the best for your team, of course. But there's sometimes I watch Brunson and I watch what the Knicks are doing now. And how that ball is whipping around the court.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I listened to every one of them texts last night, guys. Yeah. But I'm thinking to myself, man, I can't say shit because I haven't watched the game in almost 2 weeks. So
you know what? You had said that you're not really completely sold on Brunson, and I get it. And I could be incorrect. I could be incorrect here by saying what I'm about to say. I think it's a point of I got to point to the ego. And maybe not so much his fault, but being like damn near branded the king of New York. And I get it. Sometimes I can get to somebody's head.
Yeah, you're right.
Blame that shit on?
Was he given too much too quick?
No.
Yes.
No.
I say yeah.
no.
I do. I say yeah.
No.
I say
I'll say this, guy, to justify what I'm saying. I hope Bishop got my back on this one. I think I say yes because we've been so thirsty for a point guard for 20 years that we got one that we felt we could kind of sort of latch on to. So we're going to run with this shit like Gail says. But when you really look at the nuts and bolts of it and you see what the ball is doing now, I mean, I said this a while ago, guys, Bishop, he gets the weirdest 6-7 assists I ever saw.
Yep.
Right.
If you was to call me after the game and say, Dom, don't check the stats, you watch the game, how many assists Brunson got? I'd probably say 4. Then I would look in the box score, he got 8 assists. I'm like, how the fuck did that happen?
Right.
He holds the ball for 18 seconds. I'm serious, guys. He gets the weirdest 6 to 8 assists I ever saw in my life.
I was getting ready to say, he's not a passer.
No, good point.
But then
he's not a passer. And that's what the absence is showing you. The absence is not only about the defense, but again, we talking about the free ball movement, the way OG and Bridges are now focal points, and if you know what I'm saying, so it's almost we bossed it with less shooters.
Yeah, but when I ask who's responsible for that? Who's responsible for that? Is this the coach that's responsible for that? Because when Brunson is in the game, he's doing whatever the hell he wants to do, and you got help.
I think, but to Bishop, to your point, we can say that. But then again, when you look at the numbers, and our starting 5 is averaging more points than any team in the NBA. We're averaging almost 100 points with our starting 5.
With Brunson,
so when we say he's, this is what I mean. This is what I mean, guys, about when I say the word weird. It's weird for me to even give those numbers and to think this guy holds the ball 70% of the time. Mm-hmm. So now we go back to Bishop's theory. Well, somebody's letting them do it. And then I look at the numbers and we're averaging 100 points. So that means everybody on our starting 5 on average is averaging almost 20 damn points a night.
Yes, sir.
Some are averaging more. Don't get me wrong, guys. But as a whole, we're getting 100 points a night from our starting 5.
You've been averaging 28 points since
he left.
Yes.
But he was averaging 18 and a half with him on the court playing ball hog, playing Bishop's role of saying somebody's letting them do it. But then again, like I said, guys, when you look at the numbers and you see how many shots OG's getting, Towns is getting, Brunson's getting, Bridges. When you look at that, you gotta, I'm serious, guys. As a Knicks fan, I scratch my head. Like I said, if you told me Jalen Brunson was averaging 8 or 6 a night, I would call you a lying ass. But he is. But he's averaging 8 assists a night. And our starting 5 is averaging 100 points. So again, these theories, when you really look at the nuts and bolts of it, guys, I don't know if it's smoke and mirrors or I'm dreaming, but the numbers ain't lying. These guys are averaging these points with Captain Courageous on the court.
Right.
I don't know how it's working, Bishop. I don't. It looks strange.
It's working with less movement, like he chucking his ass off.
Again, and like you said, Live, one guy's averaging 20-something points without him. But with him, our starting 5 is still averaging 100 points. It's weird, guys. It's like...
That's because Brunson is scoring the majority of the points. When he's
not. He might be averaging the most. He's averaging 26.
Right.
What's the Invisible Man averaging?
Towns is
averaging
24.
23. 24.3. Bridges, 18. OG, triple OG is averaging
about 18.
Give me a minute, Bishop. 18. Yeah. So that's 18, 26, 24. And then you have the all-around sportsman and Josh Hart averaging 14.
86 and 14. That's 100.
Yeah.
Thank you. What I'm saying,
man. It's
but no. What I'm saying is, if you want to win, what needs to happen is the 100 points need to be scored a little bit differently. It needs to be scored a little bit differently.
I don't know how you do that.
It needs to be
I don't think it makes sense.
because when you boil down to it, especially like in the playoffs, only thing they're going to do if Brunson is dominating the ball, they just double team him. And then the other guys, because I've been not used to getting the ball so long that I'm like, shit, like when I finally do get it, Mikal Bridges is capable of giving you 25 to 30 points a night, but you getting the ball with like 3 seconds left on the shot clock.
Right.
You're stacking up a fadeaway, and you getting a shot, but it's not a good shot.
Right. But again, Bishop, if you're, again, we'll go in no specific order. OG, Bridges, Hart. No specific order. If you was to tell me every one of them was averaging 14 points or more, I call you a liar. Serious. I would say, how is that happening when you got Towns and you got Brunson, who we assume are taking the bulk of the shots? Now, either these guys' shooting percentages are off the chart, or it's still, for some strange reason, the shit's still being distributed. I can't explain it, guys. The numbers don't lie. I said that in the beginning. Numbers don't lie. People lie with numbers, but these guys are averaging. And here's the funny thing, guys. And again, I go to Av and Mr. Live. I said this for years. The NBA is an offensive-driven league, and we were falling behind the crack. Let's keep it a buck, guys. Our defense was good. We was always last in transition point, last in this, last in that. Again, I would call you crazy if you was to tell me the Knicks was averaging 116 points. I would think you was nuts because Tom Thibodeau don't coach offense. The Knicks are not known to be an offensive team, but they went from 106 points to 116 points. And their defense is still giving up less than 110. Again, some of the numbers make you scratch your head because I don't think, guys, I mean, I'd have to go back to Jerry West, Gail Goodrich, Elgin Baylor, Wilt Chamberlain, and Happy Hairston to think of a starting five that had more than 100 points. And that was in the 70s, guys.
Well, Dom, you have to remember, just what constitutes as an assist and how they count an assist. I mean, there's always been a lot of talk about statistical padding of the numbers. So that could explain some of that, but you're right, not all of it, because there are times where I myself I'm looking at how are you going to constitute a steal when it's a deflection, but they're counting it as a steal and they're saying, oh, OG Anunoby is averaging this many steals a night. I'm like, but he didn't really steal the ball. He just deflected it. You're giving him the steal even though he never took possession of the ball. Well, technically yes and no, but it's like, the numbers, like you said, people, numbers don't lie. People lie with numbers, but somebody is lying with those numbers, and they're doing it for a reason. I'm pretty sure it has something to do with the network deals and what the network has been asking for. But it is what it is.
I'm just saying, guys, be honest. Even to my boy Bishop, who calls him captain, whatever.
Mediocre.
Mediocre. Excuse me. If you was to tell me, guys, Dom, don't look at the numbers. How many assists you think Brunson's averaging? I'm asking you guys. Make like Bishop, and I'm asking y'all.
5. I thought it was 5.
What do you say at 5? What do you say, Bishop?
Well, I would think it would be like 3 to 5.
I was going to say 4 to 6. I was going to
say 5. 5.
So in the middle, guys. Again,
5 would have been me too.
With the averages and the numbers, we all came up collectively, all 6 of us, with the number 5. How the fuck is he averaging 8 assists?
Good question.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that don't seem right. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe they count Josh Hart.
A hockey assist.
Maybe they count that when he's dribbling down from end to end and getting the layup. They're counting that as a Brunson assist.
Yeah.
Oh, you're so stupid.
He gave him the ball at one foul line. He went all the way down court and scored. That's what it is.
Well, he's averaging 2 assists per quarter.
Yeah. Honestly, Red,
Yeah,
even
break it down.
That I would find bizarre, but hey, you know what? Sometimes the math ain't mathing, but hey, he's averaging 8 assists a night, and all of us collectively, all 6 of us, came up with on average 5 assists a night, and we watch every Knicks game.
Right.
So that means we're watching the game, thinking, how the fuck is he getting 8 assists a night?
Exactly.
Really? Come on, I am at least. I'm with Bishop on that. I think me and Bishop have agreed on this since we got Brunson. And now when he's not playing and you see this ball whipping, you're like, damn, man, with me and Bishop fucking dreaming, we were the only two people thinking this shit.
Yep.
And watch when he comes back. When he comes back, guys.
Yeah, watch.
Yeah.
Triple doubles.
This gonna be a this is gonna be like, what is he gonna do now? Where's OG and all of those possessions?
I look at Brunson like I looked at Carmelo Anthony.
That's what. But I'm saying that's why I said
offensive player.
How is it possible? How is it possible? You said he had a high ankle sprain.
Yeah,
I got it. It's like, man, listen, the technology for these types of things is like phenomenal. Like guys are spraining their ankle and then 2 weeks later they're back on the court.
Yeah.
2 weeks later. Yo, it's been almost a month. It's been almost
a month. But Bishop,
are they holding them out until right around the playoff time? Get them in a couple of games, get them in game flow.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, so if you do that, if you do that, and he comes back and it's business as usual, it's a recipe for
it won't
early.
To Bishop's point, to your point, Bishop, and I always thought about this with my favorite pick the Knicks never met in Michael Porter Jr. I thought you take a chance on him, you let him sit out that year, but he's sitting on the bench. So he's watching the game. You could not deny his potential. Michael Porter Jr. was probably the most highly talented kid coming out of high school and college. Hurt his back. Knicks passed on him. Okay, fine. But if they would have signed him, let him sit on the bench. Here we go. Brunson has been sitting on the bench for how long? 14 years. So he's watching what's going on, I assume, right?
No, he is. He definitely is. Yeah.
He's there.
So does he come back with a Bishop mentality, or does he come back with Captain?
No, he can't. He can't be on some Chuck Mangione shit. He can't do it. It'll get somebody gonna get fired behind it. Because again, we watching the games
and he'll
every
get a max
day,
contract.
and we watching the games every day, and we watching this real what you call homogeneous. This free flowing offense that's now here, right?
You said.
What did he say, Bishop?
Yo, he said, yo, hummus.
Harmonious.
It's harmonious. He said hominy like we cooking grits and shit. What the fuck? I know you've been in the South for a while, bro, but come on.
Oh, live is crazy. Smell that shit live.
I'm just trying to fix the plate with
what you need to do is that you need to get out of the South, you need to come back up to Brooklyn, get you a chop and get back. You on some hominy grit shit, my brother.
Wait, let's stop right there because we got three guys that grew up in New York that live in the South, and I'm pretty sure all three of us are enjoying life.
I ain't never coming back to you.
Thank you. I'm just throwing that out there live.
No, I'll be back.
I got your back.
I'll be back and forth. Maybe not back. I'll be back and forth.
To visit. That's it.
Yeah, to visit. Yeah. We out here, y'all. Me and my homie glitch.
Brothers.
I ain't going back except going to Yankee State. I will say this, R, and I was going to text you. I was going to text you, just me and you.
Okay.
That I was actually thinking I have to go to Pennsylvania. Could I show up for Dave? You know, it's been itching at me, believe me.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see a problem with it personally.
I know it's strange because I've been through this, so
right.
But I know one thing is I haven't met none of y'all except Bishop.
Yeah.
That would be a bad situation turn, decent, but it's been itching at me. And then when I heard,
I feel you. Right.
I heard the date. I'm like, shit. I got forever to plan this shit.
Well, yeah, because I think it's the 26th, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, of April.
So.
And I assume you're going.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
There's no question about it.
What are we talking about?
What are we talking about?
Our brother David. He had recently lost his son. His son passed.
God.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Son passed. And what's that again?
Oh god damn.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
I'm very serious. Yeah, and his son was a big time supporter of the show. Yeah, because it was a lot. I felt really horrible, to be honest. I was in a bad, in a bad space regarding that.
Oh shit!
And
know.
and you
Dave
know
was
where I,
a class guy. You know what I'm saying?
you know
He's
where I
always-
went, Horace. As soon as I read that shit, I actually text him.
Yeah.
And I said, look, Dave, I'm not going to tell you. I know how it feels. Blah, blah,
Yes.
blah. I told the story to Av one time that they didn't even know. Him and Steve never knew that my son passed away.
Right.
But we were doing the shows every Wednesday night. And when I would get off from talking to them, I was like, man, I got an outlet. Then y'all, I got y'all. And I told Av and Steve, and they was like fucking, stunned because it was almost a year. You guys knew instantly. Av and Steve didn't know until I brought it up a year later.
Right. Wow.
So y'all just don't understand what that feels like to have.
Yeah.
I don't mean to sound like that, guys, to be melodramatic, but it's probably the worst. It's probably the worst feeling in the world. But then to have you guys was like, man, I look forward to this Wednesday and Thursday shit.
Yeah, bro.
You made me come up with the slogan because believe it or not, guys, would text me, Dom, are you okay? Dom, are you okay? Dom, and I finally texted him one day and said, you know what? I come to grips with. I'm okay knowing I'm not going to be okay.
Right. Yes, sir. Yes,
and R brought that shit out in me. And so now I look at Dave and I'm like, oh fuck, man.
I know.
I still remember the night you told us about your son, and it was right. It was right after I think I told you guys about my brother and everything, and I remember I got off the phone and I cried for about a good 10 minutes because I was like, that it hit me hard because I couldn't imagine what you had to go through, what Dave is going through, what my parents went through, when we went to bury my brother and whatnot. So I'm glad that we all, that we all have these platforms, whether it's my show, this show, Nick, all the other shows that we have and all the live spaces, because, and this is why I like anytime Dom sends me the StreamYard link, for this show Untitled, and I see the ticker that says Sports Life and all roll into one, because this is what it is. This is therapy. This is a huge part of the of the healing process, and the fact that we get to talk about sports. Hell, we talked about Bobby Brown and Mike Tyson a little while ago. We were talking about crack cocaine and the epidemic, and we were just shitting on. I was just shitting on live a little bit about hominy grits and shit. So I mean, that's the stuff that we we miss, especially me and Dom, especially we're military guys. That camaraderie is what kept us going for so long. And the fact that we have this, guys, thank you so very much for having me. And
that being said, to my brother R, I won't get into the conversation we had offline today, but this is the reason, R, that we gotta keep doing what we're doing, brother.
No doubt. You're
serious.
Right.
Because guess what? We got Av. Sooner or later, we're gonna get my boy Winston from Mercedes-Benz. Right. He's going to join us. We're going to get my boy in Cali, Martin. So we're going to get some new blood. And
all right. I feel
we got to sometimes, you got to take that punch.
Yeah.
Get your ass up off the canvas. And we got to do a better job. All right. Let's just keep it a buck.
Yeah, for sure.
We got to do a better job of spreading the word.
Right.
And
not only that, but we have to encourage the camera thing again, because me and Live have been on consistently the whole time. Dom was kind of in and out. We all have to show our faces.
For sure.
This is my fourth one on the show, bro. This is like, come on now.
I'm
Wait a minute. I don't really want to see R's face.
Oh, shut up, man. You know what, Ab? And Reggie could have tested it. When we first started this, we all had our cameras on.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden, everybody's playing peekaboo and shit like we're in
It's not even peekaboo, dude. You know what I'm saying?
I got some generic ass internet. Bishop playing, Secret Squirrel. And Reggie, I'm surprised. Reggie normally has his camera on. But,
exactly.
Yeah, because you light skin. You always
Here we go.
Here's the weird thing, but before we go totally off the hook, here's the weird thing about Reggie. Reggie got his camera on. He's in the parking lot getting ready to go back on another shift with a garbage truck. I'm like, this mother, or he's in the bowling alley and we're watching him bowl for 45 minutes.
Exactly.
Now he turns his camera off when he's not working. I'm like,
I'm not bowling.
Reggie. Remember that night, bro? Remember that night? Oh, he was in his car.
Yeah.
Of course I remember that.
You
with
and
his
that
camera
Bishop,
on.
he's showing us the dump truck, the garbage trucks. I'm like, and now he don't turn his camera on.
You looking up his nose because he driving with the camera on the steering wheel. You looking up his nose. I'm like, yo, what's going on?
Our Bishop and Reggie, man, you remember, guys, when we were doing this shit on the phone?
Of course. Don't worry. I'm gonna get it right. I'm gonna get it right.
We can't just say, we've been doing this almost 10 years.
For sure, I know, man.
We had some weird time. The COVID shit with Ronan, that was probably the craziest show I ever remember. Remember the people drinking shit out the toilet bowls? And
oh my God.
Ronan losing his mind about what his parents and grandparents.
Of course.
Like, that's when we went totally the homeless situation and the migrants in New York.
Everything.
Oh, we did. I remember that one. I was there for that.
We done some serious. Again, we got to find a way. And you know what? I ain't gonna say I hate that word, but I do. I go on our page with 700 people.
I know.
Our Facebook page got 700 people, and I tell them all the time, guys, can you like, share, lie? I don't care what you do. Turn the shit on and say you watched it.
Exactly.
700 and something people, and we get 2 likes a week.
You know what? I tell you, man. If I could just add to the intimacy of like-minded and people you hold a connection with, grief doesn't survive in these areas, man. So I commend you, brothers, man, for doing this and having this space and us at this age, we need it.
We need it.
Like we need it.
To my brother,
we ain't on the corner no more. We ain't in the hallway. We ain't hanging out.
Me and Live have known each other. I remember Live saying he was moving to South Carolina. I remember when Live's mother passed away. I'm like, we've had this fucking bond for so long that we just can't throw in the towel. I met Bishop. I told Bishop I was at the mall in Charlotte. Motherfucker was there in 20 minutes. Serious. Now, me and him drove my wife crazy because we tried to reel her in, talking about everybody. Bishop went crazy. I don't want to hear that shit. Everybody in life gets a fair chance. My wife's like, no. And Bishop like, bullshit. And me and my wife drove away. She was like, he's your friend? I said, man, first time I met the guy. I love it. Believe it or not, other than sports, me and Bishop have a whole lot in common. But my wife was like, how are you friends with him? I'm like, he's a nice guy, man. She didn't like the idea that Bishop was more into, I'm tired. In other words, I don't know how Bishop said it exactly, but it was like, yo, I'm tired of hearing the sob story. Everybody gets a fair share of like, Shake, you, me, your husband. It's what we do with it. Blah, 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 blah. My wife's like, she put on her Harriet Tubman hat and shit. And I was like, Bishop is her fucking run. But Bishop kept going. I was like, and that's the first time I met the dude. I'm like, I love this guy. I walked away. So I love this dude, honey. She was like, he's arrogant, man. I said, you barely know. I said, because you don't agree with him. He's arrogant. Okay.
Before I break out.
Oh, God. Carmelo Anthony.
I got something even better than that. Your boy's at it again. He did another gun gesture, finger gun.
Tonight. Oh, man.
Yeah, we talked about this. This idiot. Sorry, guys.
He did another one tonight. What?
Yeah.
What did he do now?
He did the same thing.
Tonight?
He just did another one.
Yo, Bishop, we got to get this guy a little yellow bus, man. I'm sorry.
Clearly.
No, maybe he's part of the wrestling group, the Bullet Club. I don't know.
No, he's a very intelligent dude. He went to a high school that was for
a private one.
For kids that had high IQs.
Yeah.
And he excelled at it. So he's not a stupid guy.
No.
But he is a dumbass.
Yeah.
Right.
He's the smartest dumb motherfucker we know.
That you know what? His situational awareness is low for all the smartness because you already know what it is. People are gonna be watching you and whatnot. Come on, dude, and to do it 2 times in 2 days,
it's too much. He has too much care for what people think about him.
Exactly.
right? So his reactions reflect that, and they be asshole reactions.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't care about your legacy. You don't care about your team. You don't care about your money. You don't care about none of that. You care about what the internet say and what other people think about you. So you
Keeping it
make
real.
yeah
Keeping it real.
that crap that crap and again I blame his father.
Oh yeah,
Right?
without a doubt, live. Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Because
sir.
you don't raise a son to be that talented and have him, you know what I'm saying, be cerebral in that effect, and then not had put the wrong shit around him
Mm-hmm.
or allowed him to be around the wrong shit. You
And
wouldn't
like
be around you
Bishop
wouldn't be
said,
around people if you was my son.
I hate to
You know
say
what I mean?
this,
Like,
but to piggyback off of Bishop, this kid has been spoon fed.
yeah,
For
that's
90% of his
crazy.
life, he was spoon fed. He had
That's
the
crazy.
intellect, he had the talent. So, and I always said before he went cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, he was one of the rare guys, and y'all remember, he stood in college that extra year. He was not a one and done. He said, my game needs some, I'm going to stay. Remember, guys, he did 2 years in college.
Right.
Then he came out. He could have came out after 1 year, but him and the coach said, you know what, one more year ain't going to kill us again, because he wasn't one of those guys, and I hate to say this, that was coming out of 125th Street and Lenox Avenue. He had a pretty decent background. So he didn't need to jump in the NBA, and it actually benefited him. Because when you saw him his first year, you were like, man, this kid is like, then all of a sudden, the guns and the shooting and the chasing the Indiana Pacers.
Yeah, like I said, he's a dickhead. He's a dickhead. Yep. You could be the smartest motherfucker in the world and be a dickhead.
Yeah, you can be the smartest and dumbest motherfucker. I know that's crazy, but
T. Morant is at the strip club and the VIP.
Oh.
It's like,
and ain't he married? Ain't him and his wife still married?
Yeah, so what?
I know. I'm just
semantics. That's just semantics.
But what kind of example is that for your son?
Yeah,
guys.
No, do you, son? Do you?
Oh, come on.
Do you?
And that's why he's gonna. I hate to say it. I don't want to see his career cut short, but
he'll be out the league in 3 years.
Yeah,
in 3 years. He's out the league in 3 years.
Because he's gonna do that gesture. Somebody's gonna shoot him in the fucking kneecap, and that's what's gonna happen.
Y'all heard the story about when him and some of the guys on Memphis chased the Indiana Pacers bus. And they were waving guns at the bus.
And they threw lasers up at me. Yeah, they had the laser. They pointed lasers.
This was after he got caught with the gun. And again, guys, me, Live, and Bishop, we live in the South. Guns are guns are like bubble gum down there. But there's a certain thing we wouldn't do with a gun. Let's just keep it real.
Right.
Granted, we're a little older than this knucklehead, but still.
Right.
Because you have a gun don't mean you got to show everybody you got a gun either.
Lord.
I mean,
you gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me.
I can't believe he did it again. Oh, this was news.
Believe it. He did it.
Yeah, this guy is adequate.
Matter of fact, I put it down in the text group. I was like, no, he
can't even root for this dude. Man, you can't even root for this dude. It's and son, I'm from the I'm so hood it hurt, man. You understand what I'm saying? And that's some asshole shit. That's some asshole shit. It don't like you hanging too much on the lowest and the gutter. You know what I'm saying? Like you think you expound on that hood love and that gutter. I love the gutter. I love the hood. I love that. Look, that's the social workings of motherfuckers that's trying to keep you down because people
that's not where he's from, though.
That's following you.
That's
you don't even understand that.
I don't agree with anything that Shannon Sharp says.
Oh God.
Club Shay Shay or whatever. I don't agree with anything he said. But he said it best. He had the best analogy. He said Ja Morant is hustling backwards.
Yes, sir. Yes.
He said he hustling backwards. It's like, yo, you were trying to you already at the top, but you reverting back to the bottom.
Back to the
exactly.
you from what Dom said, it don't like it's like he don't know what the block is. Like you didn't grow up knowing what the fuck.
No. He grew up in the suburbs. He went to a private high school.
Asshole.
Where you had to pay.
Yeah.
And
Asshole.
it's just like
Yeah,
I
asshole.
don't understand what this
Sorry
street
for that, dude.
credibility. I
You
don't get it.
Stupid.
we even
Stupid.
feel
Like,
sorry
what
for
are
him.
you trying to prove? I'm pretty
Exactly.
sure he has a max contract. He's probably set for life, him and his whole family. I thought those were always the goals. But with him,
Nah, he'll
it's kind of
he
weird
through that
because
money.
he don't exactly. He don't, like, you hear it from guys that, may have grew up in New York or South Central. They're trying to make it for their family. This guy's family was already doing good. Maybe that was the problem. He really don't have nothing to play for or work for. We're good. You know how they say we good. So
he's a Carlton.
Go around. This guy is out of. I can't believe it. I read the thing just now. After being warned by the NBA, you do it the next game.
Exactly.
What is wrong with this fellow?
Then I have to ask: Is he telling the league? Is he telling
Fuck
the
you.
league pretty much like
Yeah.
you can't? I can do whatever I want.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty
So
much.
for that, I say, okay, well, if you felt that way, you should have kept that energy when they were on your case about brandishing a weapon when you didn't do anything illegal.
Right.
Then you should have kept that same energy. Then you should have kept that same energy.
You know what I'm saying? Like Silver's gonna send a memo out. You know what I'm saying? When it's time for him to re-up, don't get his man no what's called.
I don't want to drag this on because I know how R likes to go to bed early. But I don't have no faith in Commissioner Bobblehead.
Right.
I think
I don't need the man.
That's a shocker.
He gets to the brink. He gets to the brink of doing something, and then
nothing.
Nah.
Exactly.
I think he's going to set the example on this one.
Yeah, he's gonna.
I don't think so.
I think he's going to Donald Sterling his ass. He's going to Donald Sterling his ass and handle that.
If he was a role player, and I don't want to say a nobody, but you know what I mean.
Right.
If he wasn't a star.
We could go Washington Wizards. So what's the boy with Gilbert Arenas? Pritchard, what was
in
the
the locker room. Yeah.
Prince.
And he ended up, even after that, Reggie, let's not forget, even after that, he went on to have a successful multi-million-dollar career.
Mm-hmm.
After that shit. That's what I mean. And what's his name was the commissioner then? Hard-ass David Stern.
Yeah.
We all know Commissioner Bobblehead ain't nowhere near that.
No.
Because he always gets to that brink of, I'm going to, again, he does some weird shit like, okay, you can't win Defensive Player of the Year if you don't play 64 games. You only did that because people were bitching about load management.
Because the media.
Yeah, exactly. Bitch. And who really cares who wins Defensive Player of the Year?
Nobody.
Or really, who cares who wins MVP nowadays? Nobody gives a shit about that. So threatening them, and guess what? Since he came out with that, has Joel Embiid played 65 games? No. Has Paul George played 65 games?
No.
Has a host of people in the NBA played 60? No. So what do they do? Here's the thing, guys. Whether I play 65, 75, or 82, I'm still on a max contract.
Right.
Make it make sense.
As Zion.
I forgot about him, Bishop. Zion Williams ain't played 75 games in 5 years.
Paul George won't miss a podcast, though.
Yeah, and you're right. And what did he say? The funniest thing I heard this year, guys.
Yeah.
When he was trying to come back, he said, "I'm gonna leave my podcast alone for the rest of the season and concentrate on basketball."
Right.
What the fuck? He didn't just say that.
Yes, he did.
What is
your
job?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
But I will say this, guys, and I think some of us was around for this. I know me, R, and Bishop were probably ready. When he signed with Philadelphia, I was like, man, ain't this some shit? They're going to be like the Wounded Warriors.
Pretty much.
Neither one of these guys are going to play 60 games a year. And you gave him a max contract.
Right. And now you don't have Maxey playing.
No. But I think, to Bishop's point with Jalen Brunson, I think the Sixers said, you know what?
Yeah,
we'd
just
rather have a top 5 pick than to burn this guy out for no good reason. We ain't gonna use trust the process again because we caught a lot of flack behind that, and the only person we got in trust the process don't play a full season.
Right.
That's Joel Embiid. We don't want to use that analogy, but I think they're just like, yo, let's not run this guy into the ground. We ain't going nowhere. They may get an extra lottery ball. Who knows? But It's crazy because when they got him, we said the same thing. God, who the fuck would give him a max contract?
Exactly. Made no
Didn't
sense.
the Clippers give him a max contract?
I believe so.
No.
Yeah, they did. They gave him and what's his name a max contract.
Oh, right.
Him and the other wounded warrior, Kawhi Leonard.
Leonard.
These guys got max contract playing 50 games a year. And then the Sixers give him a max contract. Wow. Yeah. Come on, man. Serious. And what's weird is when he had that accident and that injury during the Olympic warm-ups and pre-games, he actually came back from that. And he played for like 2 years, 3 years. And then all of a sudden, the guy turned into a slimmer version of Zion Williamson. I don't know, but he hasn't played many games. I mean, and he keeps getting a max contract. So, to Bishop's point with Captain, what did he call him? Captain what? I keep forgetting.
Captain Mediocre.
Captain Mediocre. He's going to get a super max. We ain't got to worry about we don't have to worry about giving Carl Anthony Towns a super max. We already got one. This shit going to be $61 million soon. So, we ain't got to worry about re-signing him.
Jesus.
Yeah, but he's gonna get a super max. I tell you guys, this apron shit, the NBA and their brain power, they will find a way to work around these napkins, aprons, tablecloths, and we'll forget all about what they came up. Because guess what? Don't the CBA change next year?
2 years.
2 years, and you got this big super $70 billion contract with Amazon. We're winning, guys. We're winning. That's what they're thinking. Who gives a shit what R's watching? Yeah. And you know what? You know what Amazon said? We don't give a shit if you watch the NBA either.
Right.
They paid us and we're paying them. And guess what? We don't have people. We have subscribers.
Yep.
You don't turn on Amazon and we all of a sudden get, 64 million people watch the game on Amazon. They don't get that shit. They have subscribers.
Yep.
Remember, guys, not to beat a dead horse, when the politicians in D.C. and the Maryland area try to shut down the Wire, what did the producers of the Wire say? Kick rocks. We don't need you. We don't need commercials. We don't need advertisements. We got 6 billion people that bought into Wire and bought into HBO. We'll see you later. That shit ran for what, 5, 6 years?
That's it. That's it.
That's the difference with the streaming shit, guys. The gloves are off now. And I told you guys, now Amazon has MLB. Where I paid $110 less this year going through Amazon than I did through cable and Major League Baseball just last year. I paid $150 this year. I paid $278 last year.
Wow.
Amazon's winning, guys. Amazon, I told you this before, guys. Amazon's winning. Apple's winning. These fucking streaming shit, man. I never thought it would get this far, to be honest.
Well, when the NFL goes to Netflix, it's over.
Or they're already on YouTube. YouTube already got 3 hands in that pot because they have an NFL ticket, don't they?
They do, but I think their contract is going to be up soon, and Netflix is going to bid into that, like they bid into WWE, and they gave them $10 billion.
The only thing I don't like on my DirecTV, I have all the teams. They're in the actual guide. So if I go to the Knicks game, then the Boston game, then the Cleveland game, I could hit the back button. I could drop the screen down, see all the scores. With Amazon, you got to back, go back to the live and pick a game.
They'll fix that.
Yeah, I hope so. They need to get it where you could just go skip, previous, whatever.
Well, like Ab just said, they'll fix it.
Right. It's not a showstopper, guy. Me saving $128, I could live with it because I could at least hit the down button, go to the right, you see the word live, you hit live, and then the bottom screen brings up all the games that are being played right now. So other than the previous view button, look at this shit. The Yankees win 9-7 after.
There you go.
Oh, Lord.
Torpedo bats.
About 10 home runs hitting that game. I was like, what the fuck?
No.
But it was more than a few. I can say that right now. You know what I'm saying? It's like maybe about 4 or 5 in the game. Maybe.
For the Yankees?
I think combined.
Okay, the Yankees hit 1, 2, 3. The Diamondbacks hit 1. So only 4.
Okay, 4 or 5, like I said.
So what does that give the Yankees now? 22 home runs.
Like 22. Yeah.
Ooh, Lord have mercy. I'm blaming the bats, but
Bronx Bombers
living up to their name.
With that being said, I'm gonna have to break out, guys.
Yes,
I want
sir.
to thank you guys. Yes, sir. Salute to you, Av. Also, salutes to Dom, Reg, Bishop, Live. Thank you guys for being here. I will keep this going. All right. And
My man.
All right,
let's try it again next week.
Yes, sir.
All right.
I'll take your Metamucil and get to bed.
Yo, I gotta take melatonin to go to bed. Shut up.
Whatever. Exactly. This guy be hating hard.
y'all out of control. Later. Good night.
Later, bro.